will need new and renovated facilities. I fully support our first responders, but let's do it the right way. Alan, can you please give council those documents? I'm very concerned with the lack of leadership this city has displayed. Poor leadership is bad for business.
Amen.
The following is the truth with fact, of which you will soon receive a copy. Sorry about that. I am shocked. After looking at the most recent and only available audited government fund statement for 2022, the Harbor Fund, Aquatic Center, and the Civic Center lost a combined $462,000. A loss. Gross revenues only totaled $24 million. The city would have operated at a $2.5 million loss if not for the $7 million worth of grants and FEMA aid. To operate profitably, this city is dependent on, listen to this, municipal welfare. 29% of the city's gross revenue was in the form of grants and aid. This aid counts as revenue. In fact, the number one revenue source for this city is municipal welfare. It's the largest revenue driver ahead of property taxes and sales taxes. Let that sink in for a bit. According to the city's recent audited report, unbelievably, we also have $20 million worth of existing debt. This is fiscal incompetence. In the attached legal posting by the city, our existing debt with interest is $24 million. In light of this, 4 council members would like to burden the taxpayer with another $16 million of new debt. With interest, this will be, well, it was $27 million in the posting, Mark, you just said it was 22, I believe. Thank you for that. With a 20-year term. The city wishes to fund construction by using a loophole to prevent a vote by the citizens. 4 council members are proposing to finance these improvements using a certificate of obligation or CO debt, and y'all have an explanation of that in your packets as well. This type of debt was created as a quick funding mechanism for emergencies, which does not require voter approval. This is the route 4 of your elected leaders have chosen. They do not want you to decide the economic fate of your city.
Amen.
They are stripping you of your rights, and that is the power of the vote and its trust.
Amen.
The council can use this loophole to fund this debt, but it is not the right thing to do. An example, a police officer can go through a school zone at 60 miles an hour at 8 o'clock in the morning. Can the officer legally do this? Yes, but it is not the right thing to do. It is wrong. If the 4 members of council do not do the right thing, the city will have accumulated a total of $46 million worth of bond debt with interest. This is irresponsible. No sane person would agree to this. And I'm scratching my head and asking why. Whose ridiculous idea is this? 1, to take on this amount of debt. 2, to do this without a vote by the citizens. I ask, who is advising this council? The city's budget is that of a medium-sized business. Look, folks, this is not rocket science. I ask the citizens the following. Please listen to this. There is a provision in state law requiring at least 5% of qualified voters to petition for an election to vote on this bond debt. A petition needs to happen tonight.
Agreed.
I ask the council to sell the need of a new and fire police station to the citizens, but with correct information, not misleading, vague, and omissive information. The city has communicated false statements in its survey, in its meeting minutes, and in the Progress newspaper, in 3 different messages, and here we go. One message by the city manager said, without a property tax increase. Another message from the administration said, without increasing property taxes in the newspaper. Another message in the survey said, without increasing the property tax rate. Which is it? All these statements are preposterous, omissive, and not truthful. The city has no control over the county, period. The city has no control over the 3 county entities that establish their own tax rates. Therefore, despite what y'all have been told, property tax rates and property taxes can and will increase over the next 20 years.
Yes, sir.
The county, and only the county, establishes the appraisal and valuation of your property, not the city. Therefore, despite what you've been told, property taxes can and will increase over the next 20 years.
Yep.
Despite what you've been told, if your home value increases, the amount you pay in property taxes can and will increase. Therefore, your property tax rate will have increased. This is the opposite of the question posed in the survey. There are 5 taxing entities that make up the total tax rate. The city of Aransas Pass is only one of these entities. The city only has control over their own tax rate and not the others. If the intention of the administration is that there will not be an increase in the city's base tax rate of 0.76%, you should have disclosed this and you did not. Therefore, false information has been conveyed to the citizens and this is wrong. Incidentally, the tax rate for Aransas Pass is more than twice the amount than it is for the taxpayers of Rockport, which is 0.36% compared to ours of 0.76%. Chew on that one for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
For the administration to say for the next 20 years that property taxes will not increase or have an increase in the tax rate, well, this is just plain wrong and irresponsible. This alone should be enough for this council to pump the brakes and put this vote on hold tonight.
Amen.
I'm almost finished. Bear with me, please. The citizens also need to know that the repayment of this $22 million debt with interest will be paid from future revenue from property taxes, a pledge and a lien placed on the revenues from the city utilities. If the city goes into default, you lose your city-owned utilities. If this council chooses not to do the right thing, I ask the citizens, use state law to your advantage and take this to an election. Remember, only 5% of the voters will be needed to petition for an election. To the other 4 members of council, man up and please do not hide behind this loophole. The misinformation conveyed to the citizens and the financial quagmire this city is in, you have proof of everything I just said at your fingertips. These are your public documents, and I hope you all have been reading this. Our first responders of the police and fire departments need updated facilities. They deserve it. But do it the right way. Allow your constituents to decide the city's economic fate. Give them the opportunity to decide. Trust their judgment. And please postpone your actions. Council, the employees in our city government services and the citizens deserve your very best. I hope you elevate yourself by doing the right thing for the people and exercise true leadership. A leader must make difficult decisions at times. This is one of them. This is wrong for a multitude of reasons as stated. Do the right thing, pump the brakes, and be a leader. Now, knowing what you know now, which is the truth, and what you have just read from from the documents, by a show of hands, who will vote against this bond?
Everybody in the crowd.
Thank you, Jason. Y'all really need to start looking. I will say that since there's no alternative right now, I think somebody needs to spearhead a group to petition for 5%. And I also further recommend an injunction to protect the citizens from the city and to prevent further action from the city on this bond. The city has provided and communicated inaccurate, misleading, and omissive information to you all, the public. Thank you for your time, and thank you for serving the community.
Thank you.
If I may, I've got a couple of things to say.
To me?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
From what I understand, the comment about the property taxes being increased or will not be increased, not by this bond. The property taxes will be increased by the county. They have that privilege.
In all communications with reference to this bond has been without.
Just speaking to
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I thought you were looking at me.
You had your time already, okay?
There we go.
Yeah,
Now it's your time.
I totally understand.
So let's listen to her too.
It was
Just
a
listen to you.
I thought you were
The
talking to
property
me.
taxes,
Wow.
as a result of this bond, will not be increased by the city. We have no control over property taxes. That's a given. This bond will not increase your property taxes. That's what that statement means. Rockport, from what I understand, has higher property taxes, or so, excuse me, they have lower sales tax rate, or rate, or whatever, higher property value. They have a higher property value, therefore, yes. I'm not saying that correctly. Tell me how to say that, Sandra.
This statement is correct. It only the
Rockport has
correct
lower.
that the rate is lower. But what you fail to
Because-
inform the public is that the property value, which drives the tax rate, is significantly higher than
Yes.
Aransas Pass.
Yes.
That is one that he failed to mention.
Right.
What about everything else he mentioned? It just depends on the location.
What is Rockport have to do with it?
So Pelican Cove's got lower taxes?
And Aransas Pass has historically had a debt. Aransas Pass has historically been high in debt.
That's not
Anybody that knows and pays attention to what's been going on for the past 8, 10 years, 7 years,
Damn, we're drunk again.
we have brought the city out of the embarrassing debt that we could not pay any lender. We could not get any loan, any bond, any grants, anything.
She's talking about Hurricane Harvey
When
funds.
Sandra
They didn't do it.
first came on, she was embarrassed when people would call, companies would call, and she had to put them off because the city could not pay its regular bills. We have got to a place now in Aransas Pass, under the leadership of Gary Edwards and Finance Director Sandra Garcia, that we are from the lowest rating of Standards and Poor's. We were at the lowest rating that you could get. The highest rating is a AAA, we're a AA. That is a lot of responsibility from our staff.
And we were gonna be downgraded right after the hurricane because of our history. We were gonna be, but we stopped that.
What saved us,
We
Harvey?
have increasingly, year after year,
They got the
we
grants.
have a higher, Sandra, again, you're gonna have to help me with the terminology. We have a higher tax, sales tax revenue now than we've ever had in the history of Aransas Pass. We have higher property values than ever in Aransas Pass. We have more utility owners in Aransas Pass. That's what drives where we're at. That's what drives.
I want to say that. Yes, what she's done, and I think he's next.
Is this gonna take all night?
No.
Well, it might. I have that right. I can sit here and talk all night if I would like to.
Clean carry.
But, okay, I'm listening. Okay, I want to say something. Okay. When we first started, we have no money in the savings whatsoever. Now we have brought it all the way up to 38% of where we were at 3% way back in the day. We had a hurricane came through here, took out about 700 different residents out of here. We have got those 700 residents back and then some. We have literally moved forward with the city of Aransas Pass. And right now, we've gotten to the point where we need to think about safety for our citizens. Now, whether we talking about whether we can afford it, well, apparently we can. As far as the tax that we're talking about, the tax rate for the city of Aransas Pass, we took it up to 79 cents. We're back down to 76 cents. We have more tax revenue coming into the city, and on top of that, we have more sales taxes coming into the city, that ever since the hurricane came, the sales taxes have increased at a constant basis. You can see the graph. Starts here, and it's over here. So now, are we gonna stop and say, you know what? We can't do this because we are afraid we're gonna get back to where we were when we first started, and that's what you were saying, that. Are we gonna get back to it? No, we're not. I think we're being very responsible. Public safety is very important. Fire safety is very important, okay? Now, are we gonna slow it down and hold it back here? Well, are we gonna do this? Well, something might happen to where we don't have that safety that we need for our citizens. I don't know about that one. Because you know what? The city is growing, and we need to take care of the citizens by having the right safety, fire safety, police safety that we can have for everybody here. Now, can we afford it? Apparently we can, because we're moving forward. Now, when we're saying we're not gonna increase taxes, that means the money that the city charges per 100. Time out. Per 100. No. Per 100. Okay. Now, whether the appraisal district raises property values, hey, that's them. That's them. That's all them. Okay? We can't help that. The only thing that we can help is our debt ratio and make sure that we're not increasing our property taxes per 100 as the city of Aransas Pass. So, the only way for the city to keep moving forward and growing as we have, because I don't know, I know that the city limit sign says 82 in population, but in true reality, we're way above 10,000 people. Okay? So we really need to pay attention to what we really need as a city, not as an individual that, hey, this is what we're doing here as far as the police department, the fire department, is for the citizens of Aransas Pass. Ain't nobody from here. As far as for us, no. The citizens here in Aransas Pass need fire protection and they need safety protection. We can't be holding off on that because we think we can't pay the bill. Okay? The credit rating that we have shows and proves that we can do that and we can pay for it. And we will not go back in time. We're not. Me as a mayor, I want to move the city forward to where we have something. To where we literally, look at the fire we just had. Imagine if we were having here. If we're, laying back and holding off and stuff like that.
You did it.
Well, then come on, man.
You turned it off.
It's like, we're here for the citizens of Aransas Pass. How many of here that are complaining are actually citizens?
Not you.
Okay, so I'll end with
You're
that.
not a citizen, sir. You don't live here.
Hey, you know what?
You don't live here.
If you want to talk, you come up here. I am a citizen from Aransas
You
Pass.
don't live here.
No matter what you say, you don't come up. Go ahead, bump your gums.
I will.
You just said you wanted for the citizens, and let the citizens decide what we want.
Amen.
Not
Good
y'all.
job, brother.
Number two, yes, y'all can legally do it, but I've been to this meeting for 2 years, and I believe almost everyone has started with a prayer. So I'm guessing y'all would consider yourselves Christian. While this may be legal to do it this way, it is highly unethical and immoral.
Amen.
Thank you.
Good job.
My name's Randy Haskins. I live in Aransas Pass, Texas. Unlike you, Mr. Mayor,
Good job.
and unlike him,
Yep.
and him,
Or him.
and him,
Yep.
we pay taxes here.
I do too.
They- on your business you do, but not on a
And it's
residence.
No,
not.
excuse me?
You don't have a residence here.
Oh my God, where are you from?
Let him talk.
Yes, he certainly does.
You gotta be kidding me, dude.
You're on camera.
Just let him finish, please.
I'll be quiet.
Good idea.
I'll let
He
you talk.
still pays property.
Go ahead.
The thing about it is, it's still the same. He doesn't live here. He makes the decisions for this town. It don't affect him if we go under. He don't care.
Mm-hmm.
He lives on Highland Avenue.
I know his house is over, he parks a car there and everything. We already know about
His
that.
property's in Corpus.
Anything else, Gary? Or can I continue?
What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, you can.
Wow.
Continue now.
Before I start, I want to make it very clear. I do believe that the fire department and the police department do need new buildings. I'm not gonna take that away from them. But I'm very concerned about the misinformation the city manager is conveying to the council and to the community, regardless of the funding for the fire department and the police department renovations. On November 8th, the city conveyed and published to the Progress newspaper that both plans the city administration has promised would be advanced without increasing property taxes. Quote, "This is simply false. Only San Patricio County has the full authority to assess property values, not the city. Property taxes are based on the tax rate established by the taxing districts, and amount of taxes are based on the appraised value of the property. This city manager cannot sit here and guarantee the citizens of Aransas Pass that taxes will not increase for the next 20 years or for the term of the bond. This is false claim by you, Mr. Manager. I want to ask you, you said a minute ago that this will not affect the city taxes. The city taxes will not be raised. Did you not say that?
City of Aransas Pass taxes, now whether they increase
Yeah.
by appraisal, that's out of our control, accept that.
Okay, but the city's taxes, you said they won't be raised.
Correct.
So you're not gonna raise the city taxes for 20 years? That's what you're telling me?
Well, we can't control that. We
Yeah,
don't know who's
that's-
gonna
That's
take
that's
the
what.
office.
Here we go.
We don't know who's still
Right now,
gonna be
right
sitting
now.
there in 20 years.
Right now, right
we
now.
can do. Now, whether
Okay,
20
this-
years from now, I might not be alive.
Hopefully not.
Mr. Mayor, you just made a statement that you're not gonna raise the taxes. Now you're not gonna guarantee that you're not gonna raise it for 20 years.
He's
You can tell
guaranteeing
them-
that as
Yes,
long as
I'm
we're
true.
sitting here, that the taxes will not be raised. As long as we are sitting here.
I am speaking.
I hear you clearly.
Good. You can come up next year or the next year and raise taxes on it and stick it in. But are you gonna guarantee me and these people out here that you're not gonna raise it for 20 years? No, you can't do that. You may not be.
Was that said?
Yes, it was. He said it.
He said it verbally, he said it in the
He said it just
newspaper.
a minute ago. Weren't you listening?
I know.
Okay.
We're not gonna keep on and on.
Only San Patricio County has the full authority to assess property values, not the city. Property taxes are based on the tax rate established by the taxing districts, and the amount of taxes are based on the appraised value property. This city manager cannot sit here and guarantee the citizens of Aransas Pass property taxes will not increase for the next 20 years for the term of the bond. This is false.
We've
Can you
said
do
that
it, Mr. Manager?
continuously, we've said that. Property taxes, we don't have control of that.
Can you guarantee for the next 20 years that we're not gonna have higher taxes?
If you get into office and you're running for office now, you're up for campaigning, then I can't guarantee what you are gonna do when you get it.
Are you infringing upon his campaign?
I didn't ask that question.
Is that the city infringing upon a campaign?
I think that's. Do what?
That's a true statement, because when we're saying we here,
Infringement.
we talk about we. Now, next time around, you're a different person. You might get elected, but you're a different person. You have a different mentality. So then, we cannot, you can only control what you want. Now, if you want to hire property taxes, that's you. That ain't me, okay?
Ram,
That is what we need to understand here.
Ram, don't throw that back at me.
No,
There's
oh my God.
these people are the ones that need that, to know that.
It's a very, very big responsibility.
Well, then why are you telling untruthful statements about it? Why don't you say, yes, it can probably be raised in a couple years, but right now we won't raise it. Why can't you do that?
Mark,
Yeah, here we go. He wants to say something in reference to what you're saying.
Go ahead.
Again, my name is Mark McLeany. I'm with Samco Capital Markets. I work as financial advisor for the city. Couple things I do. This is a city council decision, so it has to be either you all deciding or not. We did the notice of intention. We gave. Let me back up a second. My boss helped write the CO Act of 1971. Purposely set it up for capital improvement projects such as this with a 5% registered vote or qualified voters. That was set up purposely, not as a way to circumvent voters, but to give them an opportunity to petition you. The original rule was 30 days. It's now 47 days. It's been added, and then the legislature, the last two sessions, have been more specific on what projects can be done. They eliminated the ability to do city hall last legislative session. You can do a certificate for COs for city hall, but then you have to pay it out of the M&O tax, not out of the INS tax. So we specifically, council and your staff, followed the exact 1971 CO Act as amended with the facts. Again, you as city council have to make the decision, but in that, Exhibit A of the Notice of Intention Resolution outlines everything that we had to say. And yes, one of the things is no tax rate. Now, it's easy to get confused with tax rates that you control and tax levy that taxpayers pay. We say collectively, and we're here in October saying it, and in November, that this can be done at the same tax rate. The appraisal district controls everything else. Both sides have made that clear. The three appraisal districts that the county is in, that the city's in, will look at each property and they will appraise it. If property values go way up, state law requires property taxes to go down. Requires it. You can get 3.5% increase in value, in levy. So if valuations go up by 15%, your tax rate has to go down. So you promised collectively when you authorized it that we could do this without a property tax increase. We can. I want that, we followed the 1971 CO Act, and it was purposely set up with 5% of the registered voters because it wasn't an attempt to go around the voters. If you have a bond election, throw $20,000 extra on costs. It's a way to avoid some costs for something that hopefully is not controversial. So it's controversial, obviously, but the purpose of the CO Act was to avoid $20,000 of calling a bond election. That's what Norton Rose Fulbright typically charges. That's the legal fees to do it. So that was why the CO Act was created, because there were projects that needed to be done, emergency and non-emergency. So that was the purpose. We met all those requirements. So rate and levy are two separate things, and when we go back and forth, it's easy to say one and mean the other. We have talked rate from the get-go. And because we talked it over the combined, the M&O and the INS. And we use the same the same INS rate. If valuations go up more than 3.5%, your M&O rate has to go down. So there's nothing we can do about that. That's just state law. A couple other things they said, we are pledging utility system. Yes, we are. $1,000, and that's the maximum. It's called a limited pledge. So, and that's in the offering document. Yes, you're authorizing these to be paid from bonds, but you pledge $1,000 out of the utility system. So it's not, you're not putting a lien on your utility system. If by any chance you would default, which you never would, the most someone could get out of your utility system is $1,000 over the old 20-year loan. So, I mean, it's not, it's a combination tax and revenue, certificate of obligation, limited to $1,000 over the utility system. One of the last things I would bring up, again, it is your all's decision, but what we've worked on from the staff to the council to moving forward was to get it done, as I said, without tax rate increase. The dollar amount we're paying back is about $1.8 million less than what we were projecting back in October and November. To the benefit of obviously all the citizens. And then the very last thing I'll point out, some of the numbers that were thrown out on negative fund balance. This city, I've worked with the city since Rick Wanzak was city manager, probably 33 years. The city has never been in as good financial shape as we are this moment. Yes, we spent more in the law audit. That's FEMA money. We have an IOU from the federal government to cover those expenses. The rating agencies that have to review all of this look at that and say, that's an asset waiting to come in. Yes, in the year we did the project, and we have an IOU to cover that. That's a good thing. So your audit, your financial picture right now is stronger than it's ever been. And it is something that you all collectively, staff and council, should be very proud of where you are right now. I do want to correct one thing. You are not at the lowest rating. You are in the triple B category, which was the lowest investment grade rating. You could be a junk, that's not a junk bond. Junk bonds would be triple B, double B, C, and so forth. You were just the lowest investment grade. Now we're up to one of the highest ratings available. Best financial position you've ever been in. So I'm happy to address anything else, but those are things I just wanted corrected. Regardless, it is your city council's decision.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in the last 7-8 years, when I know the three of us took office, we were at that very, very low place.
When the hurricane came in, Gary was right, we were put on negative credit watch.
Yes.
And they gave us 8, and negative, I'm not gonna get the exact percentages. Standard & Poor's, again, they're independent. They have nothing to do with my company, nothing to do with cities. They get paid by people that buy their service in order to know what ratings are, what Aransas Pass is compared to Oklahoma City or, you know, any other city throughout the country. So, I believe it was 2/3 chance in the next 2 years that they would downgrade you is what negative credit watch means. And what happened, we didn't go negative credit watch, we got positive upgrade. We got a better rating because everything you all did, we cleaned it up. We had FEMA, lots of money coming in, sales tax money coming in, and our audit got better each year.
And the way, I understand the way we handled all of the projects under the FEMA and the CDBG grants, we were rated so highly on those projects that we even received more funding or an extra $5 million because of the way we handled some of those projects.
Grants?
Yeah.
That's
What they do is-
just, you know, again, city council's decision.
So
I
it's
think-
gonna be extremely important to anyone that, Lord, please, we need responsible people up here to replace us at some
Amen.
point. We don't wanna be here forever. But, that's a huge responsibility on somebody to be sitting here, to be able to continue to forward progressive growth that this city has had. And we get paid a whole lot of money to be sitting here.
I'm sure you do. Envelopes.
Zero, we get zero.
Envelopes.
Yes, you can. You have 3 minutes.
No, he doesn't have 3 minutes.
Can you still sit here and guarantee these people that you're not gonna raise our tax rates for the next 20 years? Can
No,
you do that?
absolutely not.
Then why did you post it?
How long is it on for?
It's a 20-year loan, yes, sir.
20 years on?
Why did you post it then? That's what you said in the papers.
Well, if we're sitting here for 20 more years, it won't happen. But we're not gonna be sitting here for 20 more years.
She's been there 18.
What?
Yeah.
About you, or anybody as far as whoever is here, it's different. They might have the same thing as you. They might even think a little different. And they might want to raise taxes because they want to buy more stuff. And they need more money coming in to buy more stuff.
We might even be in the hole over when this city dies.
I can tell you
Because of
this,
the money.
I can tell you this, with this much debt, we're not gonna lower the tax rate. I can tell you that right now.
What's the amount of debt? Add this 16 on and we got what? 40 million? 46 million that we're in debt?
Well, I mean, it's a totally, it depends.
I don't think
It
that's the correct
depends.
number.
No, it
It
doesn't.
depends on,
It's close.
you know, in 20 years, how many more new homes, new subdivisions, new projects, new
Okay.
businesses.
20 years,
it'll be all paid off. We've been the same for 20 years. $1,000.
It all-
Population hasn't grown, they're full of
Before
shit.
adding the 16, of which 9 million is covered by the utility system, of which means net to the city is 12 million is general fund debt. 12 million, this would be plus 16 if city council approves it, puts you at a total of $28 million supported by taxes. Just trying to clarify.
And we would
It is-
never
it is
been,
correct.
we would never been approved for this bond if we didn't have the ability to pay it back.
That's not what this is.
Say something.
This one says 28, doesn't it?
People are mad about this and not wanting this to go through. It's because the roads aren't paved.
Yep.
We get dilapidated houses all over the place. We do not have curb service for anybody that wants to move in here. Or curb appeal, I'm sorry. We don't have curbs either, but we don't have curb appeal. We had some businesses wanted to come in here at the harbor.
Tell me why they don't.
You tell me why they don't.
Because you have to lease it and they don't want to spend any money on it.
That's the correct
That's
answer.
right. No, that is the truth. Would you spend $1 million on building something that you cannot own?
I
You
said
can only
that.
have it for 39 years. No, you're not.
I
So
said
get your
that's the correct answer.
stuff.
We all do
straight.
that. We don't own our own
I
property.
said get your stuff right. You were saying the right thing. I'm not doubting that. But
why did y'all
don't
fix
we
it up
sell
then?
off the harbor? Make some money.
Why'd you spend all
Well,
that
because
money
the
on it?
last time that happened, the whole council was recalled. The city didn't want that.
And
The
guess
whole
what?
council was recalled.
And guess what?
Yes.
That being
City
said,
didn't want
I'm
us
gonna
to
say
sell
this. That being
Ask him
said,
if that's the debt. He'll know.
next.
Okay, let me finish. If your intention is not to increase the base tax rate for the city of Aransas for the next 20 years, and this is not disclosed, and this was not disclosed in a transparent fashion, this city council must have an unpleasant conversation about the city manager. We do not believe these facts and figures are correct. We believe that it's higher. He talked about it very eloquently. I believe what's the city's debt right now? 21?
Everything's separated.
I'm sorry,
Different departments.
28?
Probably a gym and shit. Police department have their own, you know.
Okay, no, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm not gonna keep going on and on and on about this, about that, and whatever. Either state something that you're gonna say, if not, we need to let somebody else come up here and express their opinion just like you. I don't wanna, I'm just saying,
If you quit interrupting me, I'll say
well,
it.
hurry up and get it done.
Yes, sir. Again, we go back to all of the allegations in the news that you printed in the newspaper saying that this was not gonna happen. That's why you got the people off this farm, okay? If this doesn't go to a bond election, you're making a mistake, is all I can tell you. But, understand one thing, Chief, I don't have nothing against you getting a renovated building. I don't have one thing in the world against it. And I think you need it. The fire department needs a new building. But if we can't pay for it and it puts this city underground, then that's their fault. Their fault. That ain't on. That's all I gotta say.
Well, the city
What?
has the, I'm not directing this to you, I'm directing this to everyone. The city has the ability to pay this bond. If we did not have the ability to pay this bond, we would never been approved for it. We have to keep moving forward. We, the city, the staff, are doing a phenomenal job.
I actually have some questions. And you may have stated this, and I didn't hear it, and I heard the 20-year, what will the monthly payment be? Approximate.
We do,
180.
we do payments semi-annually.
Okay.
But the annual payment will be approximately $1,000,001, approximately $1,144,000 a year.
So about $100,000 a month.
Fair enough.
So y'all are saying we have that money right now. What are we doing with $100,000 a month right now? That $100,000 is gonna pay this bond, what are we doing with that money?
Take a minute.
Where's it going right now?
It's current bonds that you currently have that are going away, being paid off to allow for, you know.
When will they be paid off?
You have multiple bond
How does
issues
he know?
outstanding.
Give
You
him
may
money now.
remember when I first started the presentation, we talked about this in October. Cities should be in a position that they have dropped stair-stepped debt. One of those old debts are going away, and this is coming in.
Is that one old debt, $100,000?
Well,
Like, let's say,
the payment in 2024 debt is $3,469,000. That's,
There's one bond.
no, ma'am, that's all general fund debt service bond payments in fiscal year 24 is $3,469,000.
So the one bond that we're getting ready to draw. how much
So
do you have
next
left?
year, without any new debt, the new payment is $2,505,000. So the drop from $3,469,000 to $2,500,000, that's a drop, the stair step.
Right.
This goes in and replaces that. So what bond is it? I'd have to look at, go through several, but it's structured.
We're fixing to pay off the Civic Center and the swimming pool here in 2027.
Okay. So with that, if we're gonna have $100,000 a month, basically, let's just say, if we don't do this bond, we've got $100,000 a month to spend.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am, because that money is strictly, the money that we collect to pay the bond can only be used to pay the bond.
So it's
You
either we go
cannot,
more in debt,
you
or we go
cannot-
less in debt.
you cannot use it to pave streets, you cannot use it for any of that. That money that we assess will.
But we could do a CO bond to pave streets,
If
put
that's-
water and sewer
if that's
lines.
what the city council wants, yes.
Okay, so with that being said, what other options have y'all looked at besides just building a brand new building? Because I think everyone in the city, nobody doesn't want us to have adequate buildings. And for our first responders and, the fire department, the police station, we all get that, but the money's gotta be there. And second, what is the emergency? Why can't this wait 3 months and put it to an election and let the citizens decide? Because typically a CO is for emergencies, and I don't understand what the 3-month thing is. Why can't you wait 3 months and put it on the ballot?
Amen.
Our COs are an emergency.
If they can be, but they're for all
They
purposes.
can, Jim, but
You go to the comptroller website, and it'll tell you, they are generally for
The
emergencies. They
CO
don't
is
have
the
to
only
be. You
form
cancel,
of funding that does not have
can
to
vote
go
on it, but I'm
back.
just saying, generally they're for emergencies. What's the rush, what's 3 months? Why do y'all need to decide right now and not put it on the ballot and let the citizens decide?
Amen.
Amen.
Mayor and council.
And what else, what other options have y'all thought?
They don't wanna hear that.
Is the rate increase. Potential rate increase.
It can also go down.
Let's roll the dice.
475 going down, and what's gonna happen in 3 months? If you can predict what the Biden administration is gonna do, then
Well, it could go down, it could go up, I mean, we don't get to give it, but I'm just saying, what's
It's not in a hurry. It's so much that right now we're in a good situation that it's probably a good time to do it. And again, I'm saying-
Based on
what? We shouldn't worry about the Biden administration. He don't remember nothing anyway. My friend.
There's no fire.
Let's go,
hydrants
Brandon.
For the fire trucks to put out a fire if there's one in the middle.
I think they have a pretty good system on the fire hydrants. Actually, they get,
How do they get the water to them if there's no water to some of these city blocks? I would guess there's not a fire hydrant if there's not water there. I'm just saying. So you start looking at 7th Street, 8th Street, all of those that are right in the middle. If that catches on fire, we got some problems. That's awesome that we got a new building. But you're not gonna have water to put it out. So I want to know what other options did y'all look at to where we don't have to spend 16 million? Or 14 or whatever y'all want to say it's gonna be. What other options did y'all think about? Or did y'all put numbers to any other options? Did you look at, we have the property that's over by the Civic Center to put some portable buildings for a while? For just a few years to put some office space? Did y'all even consider that or get numbers for it? And if not, why not? They're good enough for our children. We put our kids in them.
Well, that's the school district, and that has nothing to do with the city. It's two
Well,
different
well,
things. It's
people-
like
What would be the
loans and
difference?
HEBs. There's just two different funding sources, two different entities.
Also keep in mind.
Well, no, I'm not saying put it in school.
Also keep in mind every
You said it's good
June.
for our.
bullshit.
Yes, I mean, if it's good enough, then it's good for adults. It's safe enough for the
But
children.
I related that to putting kids in portable
Oh, I was
buildings in
like-
schools.
No, you
Every
don't.
June, we address what needs to be done in the city and what we plan to do. Some members of the public who are interested in the community attend that particular meeting. And we get good input from the community. And then that goes into the budget. Every June.
Less than
we do
1%.
that Without exception, well, for the past 5 years we've done it. I don't know if you've attended those or not.
And
but-
I've been to the point
we have a
June
plan.
meeting.
We have a plan in place to put infrastructure into the places in the city limits that do not have utilities.
And keep in
That
mind-
is
Well, I mean, I'm
there is a
assuming that's the
plan
plan
in
that's in the
place
master
for that.
plan, correct?
Yes.
I'm assuming that's what you mean, that I go to that to look to see where,
No.
in accordance that would be.
Well,
We're talking about every June, we work on the budget, and members of the public attend that and say, we would like this. I don't know if you, I don't think I've ever seen you there, but I hope you start
I've been,
attending.
no, well, actually, I was at your workshop meeting, the first
No,
one.
not in June.
No, not in June, I wasn't, I'm sorry. I was
That
in the middle of
was-
sounds like the
my-
Biden administration over there.
We have,
do it every year.
but we do have a plan in
The
place
attorney just
annually.
So, because I wasn't there in June.
So every
you're
year,
gonna remember
every
this
year
is why.
every year we invite the
Oh my
public to
God,
come in.
Absolutely
State
ridiculous.
your case.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I'm
You're gonna
trying to
fault me because
explain to
I
you.
wasn't at a June meeting.
That has
and I
nothing to do
remember.
with
I'm
it.
asking
So
y'all
city manager
what
said.
y'all asked, the three of you sitting up here, or four, I don't know where, Joe hasn't been around that much. What other options did you
He's
look at?
waking up.
We really did not look at any other
That's all
options.
I need to know. Thank you.
No, we weren't looking for other options.
Amen, Elise.
We didn't need other options. Yes.
We have some people that are watching online and the engagement, they're just asking if they could be communicating at the mic because they can't hear everybody.
Oh, yeah, can y'all please talk to the mic?
Yeah, I'm Mark Lunsky, and I own business owner in town, I own big properties in town, and we need to, I'm not disagreeing, we need the fire department and the police department. The cost of it, 16 minutes seems like a lot. I've been a builder all my life. How'd you come up with the number? 16 million. It looks like a fancy place, doesn't belong in here, this is California style stuff.
Well, it's
This is
12,
Aransas
it's
Pass.
12 million for the building. It's not 16, it's 12.
Even still.
That's a fair.
It was 10 last time. What
Even
happened?
still, I'm a builder and I value budget. I've been doing this all my life. I can build a lot for 16, even 12 million.
Keep in mind, if I may, keep in mind that approximately 4 to 5 years ago, this same firehouse and police station would have cost substantially less. But the increase in materials and the increase in manpower and bill.
Sounds like Bible being
back down. Not all of it. The increase is substantial and dramatic. We agree with you, the cost is high, but that cost is natural. All cities are seeing it. not only cost in building, not only cost in infrastructure and such, but the cost for everybody going to the store. It's just absurd, the increases we are seeing compared to just a few years ago that we have no control over. And this has been
We do.
a
Quit
big
printing
part
money.
of the debate on the national level also.
Well, I think we ought to do a competitive bid thing to get some real numbers, so we know exactly, we're not taking one bid because we're talking to one developer. I mean, I've been around a long time, one guy's gonna give you a number because he don't have nothing else to do, it's just come
The
here.
feasibility study was conducted, we did that, and so this number didn't come out of the air. It's been, again, you raised a good question, and that study is what we are going by. And they did some very preliminary design work with that, very preliminary, but enough to give an idea of what this cost is going to be. That is done, it's been done for, I don't know, it's been
I
done
looked
for
at
a
the
while.
plans, I looked at the building, and I guarantee the value engineer down 2-3 million, I thought he just changed a couple things. I mean, it doesn't fit the narrative for this town, it's like a Hollywood place. I mean, we put a nice mural inside, and we got, that it just doesn't fit the neighborhood, and that's all I'm saying.
That is an artist's rendition, that is not
Yeah.
exact to scale.
And I'm looking at everything that I said about the cost and everything too, but I'm also looking at the cost of everything, but also we need, rather than just throwing everybody's face in this, let's do a cost analysis and see if we can bring the price
When
down.
we put
Bring it
this
down
out to
$2, $3,
bid,
$4
you're
million,
certainly
everybody might go
welcome to
for
do
it.
that.
Okay, yeah, we will put it out for bids, and you're more than welcome to acquire your bonds and everything to be able to
I'm
bid
not
on
saying
it.
I wanna build it, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. You're more than welcome to build on it.
I don't wanna build it, I don't wanna get involved.
Here we
in it.
go.
I'm just telling you
Here we
my
go.
opinion here, as a
Yes, I'm just
citizen.
saying.
I pay sales tax, I have a business in town, I have 3 businesses in town, I have 20 homes, I do a lot for this town, I pay taxes too. I'm worried about taxes, just like everybody here is worried about taxes.
Yeah, I just paid 40,000, that's.
And I live in this town, and I'm gonna die in this town, but I wanna make everything right too, for everybody. And I'm thinking we all, everybody's got the same, I think, goal. Y'all are good people, I'm assuming, because you wouldn't be elected if you weren't. Okay? But I think we all need to get in the same meeting, some kind of medium negotiation. And in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, I think that 16 million or 12 million for a fire station is too much. To the police department, the fire department, I'm all about veterans and.
Amen, amen.
Hopefully, when it gets all drawn up and we put it for bid, the bids will come out a lot less than what we're talking about.
But you're talking about more than 16 million from this man, right?
Well,
So you're established.
So we don't even have bids yet, and we're taking money?
Our financial advisors.
Yes.
They're not
Okay, can we
gonna
put that on a
provide-
contingency, to where we don't borrow 16 million right now, we just wait until it comes in, or not?
Good job.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Of course.
Yeah, we can get bids first.
TD Waterhouse, TD Securities
Yeah.
bought them, subject to city council approval.
So this is an all or nothing deal.
The bid goes away if they don't approve it.
That's
It
why
goes
we're
away,
rushing.
And then.
Biden
expense-
administration is what you're saying.
4.7?
You mean, on these bonds, on this bid?
Yes.
3.62, I think
That
is.
is correct.
Yeah.
I'm just going by
And we can
memory.
only use the money for this project.
For
No. It's gonna go ahead.
specifically, the notice of intention, you can only use the money for what the notice of intention resolution states. That notice of intention resolution states, just wanna make sure I read it correctly.
I'm just saying, why don't we throw a utility bill in there that we can use for streets and for water?
Okay, so we can't change it now because that was the notice given to the citizens.
Well, why don't we just do a renotice for the citizens?
Then you have to
Amen.
start over.
Okay.
For everything?
Okay,
Start over.
So the purpose, constructing, acquiring, purchasing, renovating, enlarging, equipping, and improving the city's public safety facilities, including new fire station, renovating and enlarging the existing police department building, constructing street improvements, including utility repair, replacement, relocation, curbs, constructing flood control and drainage improvements.
Oh, that right there, we got a clause right there, it says flood control and drainage. We could put new curbs in there and roads and
Yeah,
everything.
so the idea is that if we get good bids, we can't do anything for City Hall, for example. But we could do some streets, yes.
So we get bids, we include the streets you want to improve and the drainage and everything.
No, you would do, well, if council.
That's what it reads, I'm reading it.
So this is what the money we spent on, right, that's it. Can't be spent on anything else. So we have priorities. Police, number one.
Absolutely.
Police and fire.
Absolutely.
If money's left over,
Okay, there we go. Now you're getting more going. Now, we only spend 11 million or 10 million on the fire chief or the new place. We can spend the other 3-4 million on our road structure and our
Yes.
water. and sewer.
Yes.
not water and sewer.
He said no.
And that value engineering that you correctly referred to, that happens at the design level.
Right.
It doesn't happen at a cost estimate.
I think maybe that's where everybody's kind of confused, is that this money's just not going for that one project. It's gonna go for other things in the community if there's money left over, which comes down to value engineering.
Yes.
Am I reading this right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So that we're-
But value engineering, that's gonna be our opportunity to bring down the cost to allow any excess.
So we're basically
That's gonna be
arguing
putting
about
money in his pocket.
something that already existed. We're
The
gonna
guy
use
over
it for, and what's not left over is we're gonna use for the community.
That's not the point.
Sure.
The point is,
They all get envelopes.
people wanna decide on this, not them. They should have the right to decide on it.
Amen.
I'm not getting into that. Like I said, I don't know how this started. I came in and late on the program. I'm just giving you my evaluation, what I see as a businessman and a participant and a property owner and a business owner. I pay taxes, a lot of taxes in this town, and I like to see my money go towards something I can value and use in the future.
Me
For
too.
my kids, wherever I'm leaving it to. And then since you touched on the Con Harbor thing, can I touch on it?
For the what?
Con Harbor thing?
On Brown Harbor.
I wanna build out there. I've been trying to build here, talk to you about it for 2 years.
Yeah.
I've been talking to
Okay,
Gary and I'm.
that's a totally different conversation, but we.
You
can have
brought it
one.
up.
I won't bring it up.
It's not the item.
We, and right now, not right now, but we.
I'm gonna walk away. I just want to put it in your
We
ears.
want you to
okay?
build.
Come visit me sometime.
That's another conversation.
I'm
You're right there, I'll go visit you.
Better schools, better
I
schools.
agree. I want the best for the police and the fire department, because you know what, after last night, yeah, they protect us. And I want nothing for the best of them. I believe in the police, that's all I'm telling you. But I think, like I said, I think everybody needs to understand that we need whatever community.
You already had your turn. You already had your turn.
He's right.
Yeah, but you already had your turn.
It's okay.
I wanna say
We
something.
got you.
We got a new mayor.
This was brought up since I talked. This man is saying if we got anything left with this $16 million, that you can use it in your streets and all of that road repair, right?
Whatever, however it was worded in that.
No, they said no.
It's in the contract.
You all might have wanted to put that in your notices of everything else, because it would have made things a lot bearable for a lot of people. Because if people are mad about the streets, the drainage, everything else. If you would have put that in there, Graham, I'm sorry, he's the one that did all the paperwork.
Yeah, we got a $5 million grant to, fix the Euclid station, the pump station, to fix all that drainage on that side. We just had a conversation on that on Friday.
Okay.
See, we're touching bases with a lot more grants, not that just particular one. And
Had
that's to
that
make
grant
sure we
3
cover
years ago.
the old infrastructure, the old streets and stuff. We actually have been repaving streets and fixing streets, and we have been putting money in the budget to be able to accomplish stuff like that.
I understand that.
Okay.
But there's where the curb appeal comes in. If we can get all this stuff cleaned up and straightened up, we can bring businesses in here. Portland just got 7 new businesses. Why couldn't we get some of that?
Because they harass them.
I don't know, we've got a few.
You've gotten a few? What do we got?
Population is, and we have a subdivision coming in.
What about the
Retail
population?
follows rooftops. It doesn't go the other way around. Retail follows rooftops.
I understand.
And that's what we are
They got
working
people
on,
with money
they are
on it.
coming in. It's not a matter
Many
of,
rooftops have been
it's a
cleared.
matter of happening.
Why is he allowed to speak without being told to
Retail
speak?
will get here, then more retail, although it's improved retail, more retail.
It's not his
will come.
job.
But you gotta have the rooftops. To answer your question, Portland has.
Not
the
allowed to
rooftops.
reply to citizens either.
We do not have the rooftop. We are changing that very lively and
got more people
attracting
in
people to
Mexico
the
than-
community because of what this council is
Because I
doing.
wanted
What
you.
this council is doing.
KKK still here.
City manager, what Graham just said that the 8,000 is not true. We're over 10,000 people. We're closing in close to Portland. Right?
No, no, we're not.
No, 20,
20.
20-something. Yeah, so we're half their size.
Okay, well, if we had better infrastructure and Thanks,
We're working on that as well.
Yeah, if the city would have been taken care of way before us, we wouldn't be having the issues that we're having right now. We have corrected a lot of that. For the past.
Same for 20 years, but now
Okay,
it's different.
we went from paying bills, cash. Okay?
Well, that's fine.
So, well, no, it's not fine. No, it's not fine. It's fine that we're a lot gooder now, or better now than we were way back then.
Brad, you're getting our minute.
Let's go to the next person.
I'm not done.
But I do want to say, when you were talking about we
gonna go
do
talk?
have many dilapidated.
I forgot what I was gonna say, but that's so much other
But in
shit.
the last 4 to
Yeah, but
5
you're talking
years,
about
we have
Biden.
actually demolished over 128 buildings. Excuse me.
The ones down, that on the main roads?
I know I just got here. But what agenda item are we talking about now?
Good job.
The only agenda
No, we
item I
completely
see,
lost.
we're not
Yeah.
talking about.
Good job.
We need to keep the, meeting on the agenda item. When you get off the agenda item, you may be violating.
You're not the mayor, but good
I
job.
believe we're on agenda.
Come back to
Talking about this
the item,
meeting.
come back to the item. And may I suggest something else, Mr. Mayor? A little more order. When you have an item, you call the item, you explain, you get whoever's putting on the item to make an explanation. You open it up to the public for a public comment. Let them comment. Now, you can set a time limit under your code of ordinances. You're allowed to do that. You've set out rules of decorum, none of which have been followed today that I see. You should follow those rules. Let the public speak. Give them a certain, don't respond. Don't. It's
This is
an
a meeting where they
opportunity.
can respond to
You
us,
see?
sir.
You see what I'm talking about?
Let's go.
But he's right.
You see?
Thank
Let them speak. Let them speak. Give them a certain amount. Don't respond. Let them speak. Let them speak. When
you.
they
Sir,
finish,
if
when they
we're
finish,
asking questions and they won't speak to us, what's the point?
and when you're supposed to be
Well, they
addressing
don't
the
be.
council, you're supposed to be addressing the council and the mayor. You're not supposed to talk to each other or to talk to other people or to respond to other people. I'm talking to the mayor, to the council. I know that people want me to respond. I'm not going to. I'm talking to the mayor, to the council, suggesting this is the only.
So you're
way
not here
to
for
get
the people.
Public business done is the public
Another
speak.
liar.
Once they're done, they've spoken, then it's up, then the council, one by one, says their part, and then you, call the question. That's when you take your vote, and you either vote it up or vote it down. That's the end. And you have some, in your code of ordinances, you have some rules of decorum. The only way to have a good meeting is to follow those rules. If you don't
Rules.
follow the rules, then
Not
there's no point in
laws.
having
Can I ask
any
you something,
rules.
sir?
Thank you.
No,
Can I ask you something, sir?
he's not gonna talk to you. He's not for the people.
That's it. That was her turn.
My name's Teresa Lindbergh, and I'm a resident here of Aransas Pass. I want to say, I'm looking towards the future of Aransas Pass. I see people wanting to build down in the harbor. I see our city building getting better. I remember what our city used to look like, and I think it has been beautified a lot. I've seen a lot of the houses come down that were dilapidated. I've
Harvey
seen
money.
the progression of the city doing a good job, and the residents pulling together and working along with us, with each other, and doing their part too. I've seen Portland, where their fire department is too small now. All of a sudden, they've built and they've grown, and now they have to probably build another fire department. If Aransas Pass needs another fire department, and that some of the money goes to building a new fire department, I mean, it's expensive. It's expensive to build. It's expensive for security, for like anything now. Like it's expensive. And for the police department too, for the safety of them. In the back, I mean, I went and took a tour of both facilities, and it's, the safety of the people that are there, it concerns me. I mean, I'm really surprised that it's not a gated area for them to drive their vehicles in and out of. And same thing for the fire department. We're talking about wanting to be safe for our first responders, but we need to take care of them. And I think just it might be expensive now, but I see us planning for the future, for what Aransas Pass can be. Because I don't see Aransas Pass just being like this. I see us as a flourishing seaside area that's right there with Port Aransas, right there with Rockport, you know, where we are the place to come to. We are the place to be. And so I'm hoping that we do go through with this, that we do move forward with it. I mean, I'm really hoping that we will go ahead and we continue with the infrastructure and we keep moving forward, putting one foot in front of the other to make Aransas Pass the place that I know a lot of us residents see us as. We see, like, I don't know about everybody else, but I see that with us. And I want more for us. And if we're gonna plan on doing that, I think we need to go ahead and plan accordingly. You know, might as well go take care of everything, get it done for the future of Aransas Pass, for what could be a flourishing harbor, what could be businesses and homes. I mean, we've got so many more beautiful homes now that I'm proud to be an Aransas Pass resident. You know, and so if we're gonna do this for them, you know, for the future, you know, why don't we plan big for what's gonna be big for Aransas Pass? So, but that's my feeling. That's my feeling, and I know all opinions are different, and I know everybody doesn't agree with me. But I'm planning for what could probably, hopefully, one day be a boardwalk down in the harbor. What can be, you know, huge restaurants and multiple homes, and you know. So that's what I see for Aransas Pass. But I just want to put my sense in that. So that's all I have.
Anybody else?
Here, I'll go.
Let the PD do what they've got to do also. That's all I have to say.
My name is Doug Grayson, I'm a resident of Aransas Pass. I too have toured the facilities that our first responders operated on a daily basis, and from my personal experience serving the military, the only place that I've ever lived that's more cramped than where the fire guys stay is in Iraq. It's the only place I've ever been where there's more guys cramped in small rooms. That's just unacceptable. It's not a tomorrow need, it's a now need, and I believe these guys need it to operate better. We're the only full-time fire department short of Portland on this peninsula. We get calls to everything, from EMS to fire, from the first one to our police department does a great job, in my opinion. I know everybody has different opinions. I support the fire department in moving forward with it in the building, but I want to say that I think we have a communication problem in the city between its people and the government, and we also have a participation problem as citizens of Aransas Pass. Nobody shows up for anything.
Agreed.
Like, that's a problem. We can't want things and have new things and see a better future for this town if we don't participate. All of us, collectively, and on fighting and arguing all the time gets nothing done. We need to have a mediator for things, and we need to have a way to come and talk to each other peacefully and get things done in a way that's productive for everybody. I see big things. I want to second everything Teresa said. I see big things in this town. There's a reason I'm here. There's a reason I started my nonprofit here. And I just want to continue moving forward towards that. But I do think we have a communication problem, and we need to fix that. And I don't know what the answer, I don't have the answer, but it exists, and it needs to be fixed.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go. I'll go next.
Jason Paul, good afternoon, Oak Breakers. So you were talking about the population, man. Population of this town's been the same for 12, 15 years. If you go to the U.S. Census website, it'll show us 877, which is about 575 higher than it was in 2010. So the question for you is, why do we need a new fire station if the population's not growing? And yes, it might grow one day, but that's only what's here now. So have we had a third-party expert come out and tell us what we need? Forgive me if I don't take Chief Blanchard and Kelly's opinion on stuff. They seem to lie a lot. So these guys came out and told us that we had a hazardous atmosphere inside the fire station, but have yet to show me any documentation from an industrial hygienist that came out here and told me exactly what's wrong. Are we going to do that? I've been asking you for weeks about it. So you want to build a new firehouse, and you're telling me the carcinogens in the firehouse.
If you're moving the police department into a firehouse, no Carson's units. No? And you wonder why people get up here and get upset? Y'all know what y'all are doing. What changed? What happened? Who came out and told us that we needed it besides these 2 men? I hear citizens saying that we need it, and that's fine, but do we actually need a new firehouse? Can it be renovated? Can we save a ton of money by just renovating? Can we add more space that way? Does the renovation get rid of the carcinogenics? Alleged carcinogenics. I've yet to prove the documentation that shows me that the carcinogenics inside. Ram, let's talk to you, right? Is that something you're going to do? Are we gonna get an industrial hygienist to come out here and tell us what they're talking about for carcinogenics? It's in your newspaper, and they've said it numerous times, even called me a liar on Facebook about it, so. Are we gonna get one come out here? You're not gonna speak to me? Not gonna speak to me, okay. Jason Knight, you know anything about that?
No, I haven't talked about anybody coming out doing any testing in it.
Okay, have we had anybody come out and actually tell us what we actually need besides the in-house party?
No, I said that study that we proved, what, a year ago, and those people came out and pretty much said where the fire station should be and what we should look at building.
And does that include renovating or just building a whole new one?
That was part of that was for the new fire department.
Building a whole new station. So there was nothing planned on doing any kind of renovation. We could not do a renovation to a firehouse. I mean, I'm trying to save us multiple millions of dollars.
Well, actually, that I agree with you on.
Where is it? Where's the study? Show us. Y'all came in here and said you for the people. You gotta do a study that says for the people, but yet won't talk to you. You won't talk to the citizens, so shame on him. I've got a mayor that won't talk to a citizen who's giving actual data that you will not produce, and you have no rebuttal to it, because you don't know what you're doing. Jason gave me something, but you still don't have a whole piece of pie. Shame on y'all. Take it to a vote, to a bond, because you 4 people should not hold us for everything in the city. There's more of us out here that have more of an opinion and need data that you will not provide to us. Thank you. Liars.
Anybody else?
Yeah, me.
Lifelong resident. 6 years. Where's that lady at that said that Aransas Pass has come a long way? Rockport there and just ask him. When I was little, we were in Edmonton. Rockport looked like a ranch did when we went to harbor with all the strippers. That's what Rockport is. We stayed where we were at. Fort Aransas, I used to work there when I was a teenager. There was no better than Aransas Pass. I was happy to be a resident. Right. I'm sorry, man. I know you're for Aransas Pass, and I back you up with so many things I can tell you like Aransas Pass or you love it like I do. That's why I'm here, because I love Aransas Pass. I've been here, probably looks like I've been alive a little longer. So I've seen a little bit more, and I've seen people in all these different high places that done good, and a lot of them have done bad over the years. They all know it, all of them. They got secrets they're gonna take to the grave. But anyway, but to get back to that, as I was growing up, Rockport started changing, and they started cleaning it up. I guess they got the right people in there, because we all know what Rockport turned into from around 1980 till today. And we know what Fort Aransas turned into, definitely from the late 70s, 1980, when we were all doing the same things to get our town going. Y'all weren't here. But then people that are in there now weren't there neither. And they did what they had to do to get the towns going where they're at. Ingleside was like Gregory. And I ain't talking bad about Gregory. But Ingleside was comparable to Gregory. Ingleside they had 3,000 people, we had 6,000, 7,000. They got more people than we got. I can't say for sure if we got 8,000 or 10,000. But if we got 10,000 people, maybe we need to do the right thing by counting the population and wasting the money, some of that bond money, whatever y'all talk about, and put the proper population that we have. So we don't have to be going back and forth about we have 8,000 or 10,000. In my opinion, I believe we got 8,000 because with my family alone, it's 2,000 to 3,000. And half of them are gone because they don't want to be here because of the streets. Some of them bumps on them streets. I could close my eyes and you could just turn me in a circle, drive me around all Aransas Pass, and start taking me down some of those back streets. And once I started hitting certain bumps, I could name what street I'm on, how far the block I'm in, because them streets have been like that since I was in high school. And for some reason, y'all just want to pave D-Berry, and that's it.
Wherever they live.
Every so often, you want to pave D-Berry, and that's it. Like, I've lived from check to check since I've been working. Before they started taking out money from my income tax, I was making $10 a day out of the floor ranches, and then I started working up. They used to let us work and breaking the law. We were all teenagers working in this Peach Cafe. Some of y'all may remember this Peach Cafe. And then, so I've been working all my life at my point, right? So I pay taxes, and I live check to check. And when every year I worry about opening up that tax letter that we get to find out if the taxes are going to go up.
Amen.
Regardless of what they go up for this man's trying to get to your head to buy, he's not going to pay the bill. This man ain't going to pay the bill. Y'all ain't going to pay the bill. Some of us ain't got 20 years. You ain't got 20 years. I'm sorry, it's the way it is. You ain't got 20 years. You ain't got 20 years. I don't even know what to say about her. I don't even know if I should say I hope she don't or she don't. Right? But most of us ain't got 20 years, but our kids and grandkids are going to live like me do. They are. That's what I'm worried about. That 20 years for this payoff here. You said, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I know I'm probably
18 years in council right there.
But you said,
18 years.
I don't know if we don't know how long we're going to be here. So why don't you take it into consideration that you're not going to be here? And that the next people that are going to come in here, they might raise it. And it's going to affect people like me, people that make less. Why don't you take that into consideration?
Because they don't care.
Instead of saying, my hands are up, I might not be here, I might not be here. It ain't going to bother you if you're here or not, because you're going to have the money to pay the taxes, whatever it's raised. With what you've made here, sitting there, you say you don't make no money, I bet a good penny.
Andy, I have not made a dime
Anyway.
since I've been here on any project or anything. Oh, that's ridiculous.
You are ridiculous.
Sir,
That's ridiculous. You're completely off. Andy, number one, excuse me.
No,
excuse me.
Ma'am.
You are completely off topic. We need to get back to the
You're not the
agenda
mayor.
item.
You're not the mayor.
okay, man. I mean, sir, we need police. We need something that I was in there the other day, and the Aransas Pass Police Department's always been DB. Right? So, I mean, in reality, we need something, right? And we need something for what y'all do. You're the fire chief, right? We need something, right? But you said something about
Oath breaker.
20 years down the road, okay? In 20 years, you're gonna build this $16 million thing here. Right. Top of the all, that some man said that it's probably more than we need here right now.
Liar.
As far as what might be in it, right? I don't know what's gonna be in it. $16 million, $12 million, it's probably more than that big school that.
Liar. Doesn't live here. Lives with his girlfriend in Portland.
So why can't you just
Narcissist.
go back a little bit
Liar.
and think about the people? I don't know why you want to do this so fast. There's no need in it. Because people like me, it could affect my living. And not just me, thousands of people are out there. There's more people like me out there than there is people like you sitting there. You don't
7,900.
have no worries. You don't have no worries, right? Like you said, when you leave, you're going to be retired. You're going to have money. You pay $40,000. How much you go? You must have a lot of money, Mr. Mayor. But I don't. And now I'm just one, right? But I'm just starting it. I bet if I get a bunch of people, I would have, neither do I. But I don't think it would matter. Because you're doing this for some reason. some reason. You want to get it through there real fast. And sir, you said something earlier about the cost of material being up so high. Well, why can't you think about adding on things? Instead of buying all the material for the building, you should buy some
Renovation.
to make it bigger and rent it. And you could have something just as good and it'd be cheaper. And you wouldn't have to spend
He's
money.
right. No
But I don't
comment.
see it going that way. You know why?
Because he's a crook.
Because I am who I am. The citizens of Aransas Pass that are like me are not with you.
Amen.
So y'all don't care about that. Everybody's got their groups of people and they're all in higher places. That's what you care about. And they don't need it. They don't care. They don't care about the bumpy roads because they don't know. They're never there. Roads that I go down every day. Hitting them roads, hitting them bumps. Bumps have been there when I was in high school. So you go ahead and you do what you gotta do. All right? But you live with it. You live with it. Live with it.
Good job, Andy. Good job, brother.
Anybody else?
My name is Dennis Peacock. I live here, I'm a resident. I'm no differently than the rest of you, except I'm retired, and I don't know how many of you are retired. My concern is very simple. You know, I believe in the public because I worked 50 years for the government. So I'm for their interest. But at the same time, I wanted to comment on something very positive. The Public Works Department. You just had a street paved. It was decent. Very impressive job. Goes all the way down from Avenue A all the way to 361. And I admire your in-house workmanship.
Aransas County.
I didn't
They
expect
didn't do
it,
it.
but I appreciate
I mean, it was San Patricio County.
it turned out it was
Not there.
my concern is too, when you're wanting to build a building, when I see what they did in-house within y'all's concern, as far as the city manager and his capabilities of getting it done, I also see your in-house capabilities from a standpoint of building buildings. If I can serve in that interest, I will. That's what I've done in the past. So I appreciate your interest in being here, because I know you go through a lot of abuse, and it's hard. But serve the public, that's what's most important. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them, but I'll be around.
Anybody else?
I got something to say. This has been up for a long time, and I've talked to a lot of people in person, social media, even people in here. And what you said, right, the citizens deserve the protection from fire and police, and no one in this room or this town is against either one of them or crazy. So that statement is true. But as elected officials, we should have the citizens' utmost interest in the back of our heads nonstop. We're about to approve the largest debt load in one motion times 2 in the history of Aransas Pass. And the people are the ones paying the bills for this building.
Yep.
So the right thing to do would be to table this, get it prepped for a bond election, and
Yep.
let the people vote on it. And Mary, I present that in the form of a motion.
Amen.
That's your motion.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a second to this motion?
Crook. Crook. Crook.
Okay. So there's no second, the motion dies.
So nobody's for the people. Interesting.
Well, I should have.
Jason, you got our vote next year, buddy, or this year? No, they're all terrible.
Wow.
Eight, 10 years politician, doesn't care about us.
You want to read it? Go ahead. of Aransas Pass, Texas combination and the pledge revenue certificates of obligation, series 2024, providing for the payment of said certificates and the levy of an ad valorem
What are they getting out of this if they won't let us go to bond?
within the city and further secure
Mhm.
said certificates by deed
Yep.
on and pledge of the pledge revenues of the system, authorizing the execution of any necessary engagement agreement with the city's financial advisor.
Communist.
And provided an effective date.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Communist.
Any opposed?
I will not deny the taxpayers rely on the final say so on this, so my vote is a big no.
Thank you.
And Mayor, did you vote? Did you vote? To the motion, I mean, the ordinance passed.
Didn't listen to the people at
Now
all.
we're gonna go to consider an act on request from DNA Productions for the use of Sunflower Harbor on April 12 through the